Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The chemical warfare between fire ants and crazy ant involve the use of formic acid and solenopsin. Many ant species can inject formic acid when they bite, and the formic acid greatly increases the pain of their bite. Thorny crazy ants is another species of aggressive invasive ants that invade by taking over the territory inhabited by fire ants. In order to protect their home, fire ants don't have other choice but to fight with crazy ants. When the fire ants and crazy ants are fighting, fire ants squirt solenopsin, which is a type of neurotoxin, to kill the crazy ants. However, crazy ants will retreat and secrete formic acid from the tip of their abdomen and groom themselves with formic acid. Afterwards, they return to battle, seemingly unaffected by the exposure to the fire ants' neurotoxins. So, the question is, what is the application of this chemical warfare that make crazy ants unaffected with fire ants' neurotoxin? But first, let me explain about the formic acid. Formic acid, also named methanoic acid in IUPAC, has the chemical formula HCOOH, and it is the simplest carboxylic acid because it has only one carbon in its structure. For your information, this acid can cause burns to any part of body and makes breathing difficult. It is an important intermediate in chemical synthesis that occurs naturally in ants.
So for the solenopsin is a lipophilic alkaloid with the molecular formula C17H35N, and its IUPAC name is 2-methyl-6-andesylpiperidine. Solenopsin is commonly found in venom of fire ant. Solenopsin molecular geometry contains 2-degree amine, methyl group, and piperidine ring. Structurally, solenopsin are a piperidine ring with a methyl group at the position of 2 and long hydrophobic chain at 6. The solenopsin is a primary toxin and it is soluble in water. Solenopsin is also a secondary amine, so it has a similar physical and chemical properties as amine.
Then, I will be explaining about neurotoxin. Neurotoxins are synthetic or naturally occurring substances that damage, destroy, or impair the functioning of the central or peripheral nervous system. Neurotoxins may damage neurons, axons, or glia, resulting in loss of specific nuclei or axonal tracts of demyelination. Neurotoxins are toxins that are destructive to nerve tissue, which can cause neurotoxicity. Neurotoxicity alters the function of the nervous system by damaging brain cells or the nerves which carry signals around the body. A series of neurotoxins have been identified in fire ant venom, which is solenopsin.
I will now explain how the crazy ants can survive the fire ants neurotoxin. The fire ants neurotoxin is a base with a pH of around 7.5. The crazy ants will then secrete formic acid which have a pH of around 3.47 from their abdomen to neutralize the solenopsin from the fire ant. Both formic acid and solenopsin are weak acid and weak base respectively. The reaction solenopsin, which is an amine, and formic acid, which is a carboxylic acid, will produce amine and water. The bond of hydrogen on solenopsin and bond of hydroxyl on formic acid, which will produce the water. So, the reaction of acid with bases will be neutralized. The fire ant sprays solenopsin at crazy ant, and then the crazy ant will produce formic acid from their abdomen that will neutralize the solenopsin.
Lower aliphatic amines can form hydrogen bonds with water molecules, hence they are soluble in water. Since solenopsin is secondary amine, so solenopsin is soluble in water too. Increases in size of hydrophobic alkyl part increase the molar mass of amines, which results in a decrease in its solubility in water. Higher amines are insoluble in water. For the equation, We show that amine soluble in water. Lone pair of hydrogen in amine will attract hydrogen bond in water. It makes hydrogen atom bond with nitrogen in amine, while hydroxyl group will remain. This proves that amine is soluble in water and show the property of bases. And then the other reaction. This reaction, based on these reactions, carboxylic acid and amine will produce amide and water. Hydroxy group from carboxylic acid and a hydrogen atom from amine will produce water, while others will produce amide. It is the reaction of neutralization between acid and base that the crazy ants use to protect themselves from the neurotoxin secreted by fire ants.